Shabbat Shalom to all those both in the sanctuary and also to those tuning in from your various social media platforms. Whether you're joining us via Facebook, YouTube, or our website, we welcome you to Adat Ariel, both a virtual and physical space to connect and pray and get to celebrate Shabbat together. It's been a long week, a hot week, and one where we've cleared Tisha B'Av, and we are now in the day of love. It is Tu B'Av, which means that we get to really lean in to not necessarily romantic love, but just the love of earth, of one another, of how we feel towards our family and friends. So with love in our hearts, let us start with a greeting of Shalom Aleichem. So I invite you, if you want to follow along in the Siddur, page 5. If not, hopefully you know this. Feel free to sing, to sway in your bodies, and let us celebrate Shabbat together.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi-melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi-melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barchuni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi-melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seichem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi-melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
We'll continue with Yedid Nefesh on page 10, and our Chazan this evening is Stuart Zimring, so Toda Rabbah. Can you make sure that we can hear you loud and clear by either turning up the mic just a tidbit or aiming the mic even closer to your gorgeous vocal cords?
Yedid nefesh av harachaman, Yedid nefesh av harachaman, Meshoch avdecha, la 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 la, mel retzoncha. Meshoch avdecha, la 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 la, eretzonecha. Yarutz avdecha, kemo ayal, yishtachave lai lai, la 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 la, el mul hadaderecha.
On the next page, page 11, we have Lechu Neranena.
Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena, l'Adonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena, l'Adonai. Naria, naria, yetzur yishenu, nekad mafana betoda. Naria, Naria, Letzur Yishenu, Nekad Mavana Betoda, Lechun Eranena, Lechun Eranena, Lechun Eranena, Ladonai, Lechun Eranena, Lechun Eranena, Lechun Eranena, Ladonai.
We continue now with Lecha Dodi on page 23.
Okay. We're going to be doing the first 3 verses on page 23, the middle verse on page 24, and then the last verse on page 25, at which time we rise and face the door to welcome the Sabbath Queen. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat, Nekabla, Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat, Nekabla, Shamor vezachor beribur echad, Ishmianu el hamyuchad. Adonai echad u'shemo echad, Leshem ultiferet velitila, Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat, Nekabla, Likrat Shabbat, Lechu v'nelecha, Ki mekor habracha, Merosh mikerem nesucha, Sof maaseh b'machshava tehila, Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat, Nekabla, Mikdash Melech Yirmelucha, Kumitze mitoch hafechan. Rav lach shevet be'emek habacha, vehu yachamol alaychem la. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat, Nekabla. Hitoreri, Kiva orech kumi ori, shir daberi, kavod Adonai, alayich nigala, Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat, Nekabla.
Please rise if you can. We're at the final verse of Lecha Dodi, page 25, Bo'i v'shalom.
Bo'i v'shalom, Ateret bala, Gam besimcha uvetzala, Toch emunei Am segula, Bo likrat kala, penei Shabbat, nekabla, lecha dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat, nekabla.
Shabbat Shalom to the Sabbath spirit that has enveloped us and settled on the room and elsewhere. It's now time, therefore, for us to sing the psalm for Shabbat, Mizmor Shir Liyom HaShabbat. It's on page 27.
Mizmor Shir Leyom HaShabbat, Mizmor Shir Leyom HaShabbat, Mizmor Shir Leyom HaShabbat, Tohev lehodot l'Adonai. Mizmor Shir Leyom HaShabbat, Mizmor Shir Leyom HaShabbat, Mizmor Shir Leyom HaShabbat, Tov lehodot l'Adonai. Tov lehodot l'Adonai, uzamer l'shimcha elyon, להגיד בבוקר חסדך, ואמונתך בלילות. עלי העשור ועלי נבל, עלי היגיון וכינור. כי שימחתני אדוני בפעלך, במעשה ידיך ארננו. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, מזמור שיר ליום השבת, מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני. צדיק התמה יפרח.
Next page. כארז בלבנון יזכה.
שתולים בבית אדוני, בחצרות אלוהינו יפריעו. עוד ינובון בשיבה, דשנים ברעננים יהיו. להגיד יששר אדוני, צורי ולא עוולה תבוא. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, מזמור שיר ליום השבת, מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני.
Toda rabah. Thank you so much to Stuart Zimring for leading Kabbalat Shabbat. We're going to really lock in Shabbat by committing the beautiful act of lighting the Shabbat candles. I know that sounded saucier than it was, but that's really our official time to say, it's Shabbos here. We add light into our lives. And Carol is going to volunteer just to help light those candles. We'll all say the blessing together. So I invite all who are able to stand to rise and cover your eyes if you choose. And you can do this at home if you'd like as well. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. One more time. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Don't be afraid to use another match. We have plenty. Don't burn your beautiful fingers. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Kiddushanu b'mitzvotav V'tzivanu lahadlik ner V'tzivanu lahadlik ner V'tzivanu lahadlik ner Shel Shabbat. Yay! Woo! Shabbat Shalom! I invite all of you to say Shabbat Shalom to your neighbor, to your friend, to a child, a parent, anyone who's surrounding you. You can just send kisses over Facebook using the heart emoji, for the heart emoji is exactly the reason it was invented, for these kind of things. And those in the room, it's so lovely to get to see you and celebrate Shabbos with you. I invite you all to sit down just briefly, because we need to talk about, well, actually the Shema. Because the Shema, which we're going to be saying in approximately 8 minutes, comes from this week's Torah portion, Parshat Ve'et Hanan. Yay! It's a biggie. And it's such a shame that it's a parsha that's in the summer month of July, when a lot of people are on vacation. We very rarely have bar or bat mitzvahs on this date. But Parshat Ve'et Hanan is, and I discussed this earlier in the week with my congregation, it would be my desert island parsha. Like if you had to take one parsha with you to be able to read and obsess over, like this is probably it, because not only does it have the Shema, and it also, by the way, has the line in the Aleinu as well. Like, good gosh, we're batting so many hitters here. But preceding the Shema, it has what's even more central, and what I believe and many commentators believe the Shema actually alludes to. Because, by the way, the Shema says, V'hayu hadvarim ha'elech, right? And these words, which I have commanded, set them before your eyes, think about them all the time, teach these words, hadvarim ha'elech. Those words aren't the Shema itself. The words that we're meant to teach, think about, set upon our heads, hearts, hands, and before us, they're the words of the 10 Commandments. Yes, the 10 Commandments are in this week's Torah portion. As a recap, Moses is in the middle of his swan song, recapping the journey to the Israelites and all the laws that we are meant to hold dear. And here's the real thing, though, that sticks with me at this time, because, well, that's one of the most magical, mystical miracles of all in the Torah, that collective revelation of Mount Sinai. And Moses is going to say a little phrase in this Torah portion as he's retelling the story of the 10 Commandments, which ties all of this in and answers, or indeed instructs us, with a really big charge. And when Moshe is talking about, well, God spoke these words, and Moses uses, Et hadvarim ha'eleh diber Adonai el kol ka'hilachem. So again, we have the allusion there of all these words, the Shema words. He then describes how God, with a great voice, and then there's another phrase after that that's translated in different ways, and that's my little mystery here. We have kol gadol, God's voice is kol gadol, velo yasaf, which was never again. Lo meaning negative, and yasaf, like increased or continued. So with a great voice that never happened again, God then speaks the 10 Commandments. And that's, of course, the plain meaning of the text, right? Lo yasaf, didn't happen ever again, so it was a one-off occasion, and that's what a lot of our commentators say, that's what it means, don't obsess. However, there are a bunch of commentators that go, no. What lo yasaf can mean is, which did not cease, which never stopped increasing somehow. And what that can means that there's two possible outtakes, and both of them are amazing and fabulous, and I've been like obsessively thinking about them the whole of this week because of it being this parsha. So Lo Yasaf, we could think about that as like a time-bound thing, that during the time when God is relaying all of these commandments to the people at Sinai, God doesn't take a breath, because you foolish mortals, God doesn't have vocal cords or a need to inhale oxygen. God's not wearing a mask. God is completely other and different and alien. So God was able, without stopping, without ceasing, to just pour forth all of these commandments, which meant they probably took up less time, but they were just so unearthly. And maybe they weren't even verbal. Maybe it was just more like a kind of primeval humming, an energy force, something completely different. So that's one interpretation of what Lo Yasaf could be, how God isn't human. And then the other interpretation that's equally profound is that V'lo Yasaf isn't just a descriptor of that event itself, that during this speech, God was able to just ceaselessly pour out with this great voice, but that this voice has never ceased up to this day and even into the future for all eternity. And that's incredible, because that's actually telling us right now there is this continuous whispering, this revelation, and all we really need to do, therefore, is tune in, and then we'll be able to be in tune with God and hear God's voice, which is also an incredibly exciting thing. And that therefore brings us back to the Shema, because we're told we say the Shema every morning and every night at minimum, and we also say it in extreme times. And what is the Shema? But it's really a call for us to listen, i.e. to be able to hear not just the Shema itself, but revelation, the Ten Commandments, but not just the Ten Commandments written and received then at Sinai, but the ones that are unfolding now, God's secret voice that is actually accessible, and again, according to this interpretation, constantly flowing into the universe of how to be decent, good, moral human beings. So I invite us, when we say the Shema in now 2 minutes, that we listen and try to hear that ceaseless, unending flow of God's voice, sharing what it is to be moral and ethical and caring people, which is really the heart of those 10 commandments. So let's get to the Shema. But before that, it's the Baruch Hu. So page 39. And we ask you, if you can, to rise for this call to prayer. And we'll just do a little pause before the Shema so we can really listen.
La, 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 la.
seated as we continue with that Ma'ariv Aravim bracha.
ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד, ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב ערבים.
Amen. We're continuing on page 40 now with Ahavat Olam, which we'll, I think, just chant.
אהבת עולם בית ישראל, עמך עמך אהבת. אהבת עולם בית ישראל, עמך עמך אהבת. תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת. תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו לימדת. על כן, על כן, על כן, אדוני אלוהינו, בשוכבנו ובקומנו, נשיח בחוקיך, ונשמח בדברי תורתך ומצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נגע יומם ולילה. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נגע יומם ולילה. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נגע יומם ולילה. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נגע יומם ולילה. ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברתם בם בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. Adonai Elohechem Emet.
Emet ve'emunah, page 43a. I love this tune.
Emet ve'emunah, emet ve'emunah, emet ve'emunah kol zot. Ve'kayam aleinu, emet ve'emunah kol zot. Ki hu Adonai Eloheinu, ein vein zulato, v'anachnu Yisrael, Yisrael amo. Emet ve'emunah, emet ve'emunah, emet ve'emunah kol zot. Ve'kayam aleinu, emet ve'emunah kol zot.
Top of page 44.
Umalchuto beratzon kiblu aleihem. Moshe uMiriam uvnei Yisrael echanu shira besimcha rabba ve'amru chulam. Mi chamocha bailim Adonai. Mi kamocha nedar bakodesh nora tehilot osefele. Malchutecha ra'uvanecha bokei hayam lifnei Moshe zeli anu ve'ameru Adonai Meloch le'olam va'ed. V'ne'emar kifad Adonai et Yaakov uge'alo miyad chazak mimenu baruch atah Adonai Gal Yisrael.
We turn to page 45 for Hashkivenu.
Hashivenu Adonai Eloheinu
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu shalom v'achmidenu v'keinu l'chayim v'bros alenu sukat shlomecha. Literally.
Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom, aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael, haporei sukat shalom, aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim.
V'shamru, page 46.
V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat Lasot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, וביום השביעי ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, אמן. בעלמא דברך ירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביום אחרון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בגאלה ובזמן קריב, ויאמרו 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 אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי 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 דקודשה דקודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה, ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעולמה, ויאמרו 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 אמן.
On page 47 to 52, we have our Ma'ariv Amidah, which is governed silently, quietly to ourselves, which is this lovely time for us to really pray and hear what it is that we need to be praying, and if we are lacking connection, to try to deepen that connection. So I invite you all just to take a few minutes to pray this. You're welcome to use the Hebrew or English on page 47 to 52, or treat yourself. Take some minutes to just pray what you need to pray in the stillness of your heart.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha. Tasim leolam, tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha. Tasim leolam, tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha. Ki ata hu melech Adon, Adon, Adon lechol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech Adon, Adon, Adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha. Shalom Rav am Yisrael Amcha. Tasim leolam, tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha. Tasim leolam, tasim leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha.
We turn to page 53 for Vaychulu.
Lai la lai 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 la 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 lai 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 la 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 lai lai la lai 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 la 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 lai la lai ya la lai 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 la 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 lai. Vayechulu hashamayim v'haaretz v'chol tzvam. Vayechulu hashamayim v'haaretz v'chol tzvam. Vayechal Elohim bayom hashvi'i melachto asher asa. Vayechal Elohim bayom hashvi'i melachto asher asa. Vaychalu lai 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 ya la lai 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 la 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 lai ya la lai 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 ya la la lai 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 ya la lai la lai la 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 lai. Vayishbot bayom hashvi'i mikol melachto asher asa. Vayevarech Elohim et yom hashvi'i ki devaykedoshoto. Ki vo shavat mikol melachto. Asher bara Elohim lasot, asher bara Elohim lasot. Lai la lai 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 ya la la lai la lai ya la lai la lai la 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 lai lai la lai 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 ya la la lai la lai ya la lai la lai la la lai. Yitkara v'yitkara Shemei Rabba.
Amen.
Ve'omad yivrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei. V'chayachon v'yamechon v'chayrecho Beit Yisrael. V'gala v'zman kari v'yimeru. Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabba mevorach. Le'olam u'l'olmei hamaya. Yitbarach. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudesha b'richu le'en lamin kol berchata v'shirata tush b'chata v'nechamata damiran be'yoma v'yimeru. Amen. Titabel tzoloton v'ton dechol Yisrael kadam uvon debishamaya v'yimeru. Amen. Yahei Shlomo Rabba min Shemaya v'chayim alenu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimeru. Amen. Osei shalom b'mromav hu yasei shalom. עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ויאמרו Amen.
Please rise if you can for our Kiddush for Erev Shabbat on page 55, and Todah Rabbah to Jack for distributing our lovely grape juices.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava ufratzon hinchilanu Zikaron lemase bereshit Ki hu yom tehillah lemikrae kodesh Zecher litziat mitzrayim Kivanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta Mikol hamim v'shabbat kodshecha ve'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat Amen. L'chaim, Shabbat Shalom.
L'chaim.
Oh, wow, vintage Thursday.
Exactly. Still delightful. On page 56, we have Aleinu. So please stay standing if you are standing, and we will face the ark for Aleinu.
Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol latet gedula liotzer bereshit shelo asanu kegoyei haratzot velo samanu kemishpechot adama shelo samchelkenu kahem vegor aleinu kechol hamonam v'anachnu Chavim umodim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu shehu notei shamayim veyosed haaretz umoshav yikaro bashamayim mimal ushchinatu zo begavhei meromim hu Eloheinu ein od emet malkeinu efezulato kakatov betorato ve'adata yom ve'hashevota elevavecha Ki Adonai hu Elohim bashamayim mima'al ve'al haaretz mitachat ein od. Kakatuv betoratecha Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed v'nemar v'haya Adonai lamelech al kol haaretz Ushemo, Ushemo, Ushemo Echad.
On page 58, we have Kaddish Yatom, and it is now the 15th of Av, and I just want to acknowledge those who passed away on this date. Eleanor Benedict, Ruth Rose Wallen, Reuben Marsh, and Ronnie Gold. Those are the yacht sites that I have in front of me. If you're on Facebook and you want to comment, please feel free to let us know the loved ones that you will be saying Mourners Kaddish for. And I also just want to tell the congregation that it's my sad duty to report that Shirley Moore, Herb Moore's wife of over 70 years, passed away this morning peacefully. We don't know yet when the funeral or shiva will be, but we will send out congregational emails to let you know about that. But we just want to hold Herb Moore and his family in our hearts at this time, and we know we will miss Shirley so, so, so much. So with that in mind, I ask all those who are in mourning to please rise, or if you're observing a yacht site, and we will say our Kaddish Yatom, our Mourners Kaddish, together. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, bi'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'yimru, Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'lolmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudsha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, de'amiran ba'alma v'yimru, Amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shamaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'yimru, Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'yimru, Amen. May their memories bring you comfort and be a blessing to you. So we have just one psalm left really to chant. It is more of a hymn, really. It's Yigdal. But before that, I just want to thank the people who helped make this service possible. We have David Kamener, who was our wonderful pianist this evening. So Toda Rabah, thank you for enriching every tune that we offered. And also to our wonderful Chazan, it is Stuart Zimring, and to Carol, who lit the candles for us. Thank you so, so much. What a lovely husband-wife duo. And also to everyone who braved the heat and the possibility of infection and came to the sanctuary to be with us for Friday night. Again, we encourage you that, yes, we're still being cautious, but you're all welcome to come to services on Friday night. We are open again on Friday. I know there's a lot of you online. So yes, but again, we will continue to offer both a virtual space and a physical space for the foreseeable future. So just a couple of things to highlight. Services tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. And next week, we're doing our wonderful Operation Backpack, whereby we will assemble backpack with school supplies and make up 65 backpacks for children of veterans who are struggling with those basic needs. So invite you next Shabbat to just stay for a few minutes, and during the Kiddush, or maybe after you've had some Kiddush, if you want to volunteer and help us pack those backpacks. Operation Backpack will then be another success yet again. We weren't able to do it last year. I think we just sent them a donation of money, but this year we're going to be able to give them the supplies that they look to us for. And then also on August 7th in the morning, it's Tot Shabbat. And you don't even have to be a tot to attend, although it definitely helps. That all families really are welcome at 9:30 a.m. I think we'll be in the yard by the ECC. We just have a short and sweet musical story time service with lots of joy and singing. So all are welcome for that, because that has returned. So yeah, I think without further ado, we will end on Yigdal, page 62, And is there anything I'm forgetting?
You didn't forget anything, except I'm going to usurp does the cantor have any announcements?
Does Cantor Cantor Zimring have
an
any additional announcements?
But I have to say, I think this is the fourth or fifth time in the last 18 to 20 months that you and I have shared the pulpit and led services together, and I can only tell you what an absolute pleasure it is to see you in the flesh.
I know.
And to be here with all of you in the flesh. It's been so
wonderful. Lovely. The last several times that Stuart and I have been co-pilots, it's been via Zoom. So we've been in our own rooms, and while I've belted out gorgeous harmonies, he hasn't been able to hear them, and neither have you, because I was on mute so we could hear him. But to be able to sing together in person and with the piano and with the amens and the claps of the kahal of our community is very special. So you're absolutely right. It is a delight to get to be together.
And on that note, David?
D minor.
יגדל אלוהים חי וישתבח, נמצא ואין עד אל מציאותו,
Page 62.
אחד ואין יחיד כייחודו, נעלם וגם אין סוף לאחדותו, אין לו דמות הגוף ואינו גוף, לא יערוך אליו קדושתו, קדמון לכל דבר אשר נברא, ראשון ואין ראשית לראשיתו, הינו אדון עולם וכל נוצר, יורה גדולתו ומלכותו, שפע נבואתו נתנו, אל אנשי סגולתו ותפארתו, לא קם בישראל כמו שעוד, נביא ומביט את אמונתו, תורת אמת נתן לעמו אל, על יד נביאו נאמן ביתו, לא יחליף האל ולא ימיר דתו, לעולמים לזולתו, צופה ויודע מתחרנו, מביט לסוף דבר בקדמתו, גומל לאיש חסד כמפעלו, נותן לרשע רע כרשעתו, ישלח לקץ ימין משיחנו, לפדות מחכה קץ ישועתו, מתים יחיה ברוב חסדו, ברוך עדי עד שם תהילתו, מתים יחיה ברוב חסדו, ברוך עדי עד שם תהילתו. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. 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 Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Ding-ding-ding. Huzzah! Woo woo! That was incredible. And if you want more grape juice, please do. It was indeed a vintage Tuesday. So